Because it's peak EU time. Is this guy doing classic or retail? Yeah, the three of these guys are doing classic. This guy's doing classic. I'd say overall there's definitely more people playing classic that are more viewers that are watching classic content. Would I not use skewed data? Well, wait a minute. Why would it matter? So if I'm trying to measure a ratio of something, why would it matter if I used English or not? It doesn't. Yeah, I just... it's a bigger sample size. Yeah, it's interesting to see what the differences are for sure. And you're right, regional biases might exist. Yeah, you're right about that too. Let me see here. Let me look on YouTube.
Ishnualar friends, I hope you guys are having a good day. I'm about to ruin it. Take a seat and I'll tell you the story of my SOM adventure. It's gonna be a short story. First of all, no, I didn't die. I'm still alive and well. Level 14. I was questing, cruising. I have a bunch of quests as you can see.
Amazing.
But I gotta come clean, gentlemen. SOM is just not for me. Now before I explain why it's not for me, I just want to start by saying I'm not trying to shit on anyone else's fun. I'm not trying to be a downer here. I understand why the game is fun. I understand that it's about the adventure, the journey. The leveling is the content. But at the same time, in my mind, in my brain, I'm trying to go fast. And I know that's not good, that's not very healthy, but it's just 15 years of WoW made it in my brain. If I go slow, I'm doing it wrong. If I'm trying to rush it while at the same time trying to not die, while at the same time not being allowed to group up, do dungeons more than once, trade items, it just sucks the fun out for me even more, especially the non-grouping part. The fact that I have to play the game and I'm on my own and I'm not even streaming and I'm essentially playing at this point maybe 8 hours a day and I'm trying to make a fun video out of it and it's 8 hours a day of just right-clicking bears. I understand the concept, the adventure, but the adventure is way more fun when you do it together with friends. But with the hardcore rules, I'm not allowed to have friends. I barely have any friends anyway. The challenge of getting to max level and fighting Ragnaros, or even attempting to get attuned for Molten Core, does sound really cool. And I don't know if people are going to be able to do it. Some people are for sure, but in order to get a full group going, 40 people, and you probably need way more than 40 because you're gonna have to replace them as they die. That's gonna be really difficult. There's plenty of, let's call them professionals that are actually gonna go for it, and people might even kill Ragnaros. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna happen. But the point is, killing Ragnaros is not necessarily the goal. The goal is the journey, and if the journey is slow and not fun for me, I don't think I'm gonna keep going. You know what I was trying to do? I was trying to just go to each zone and have each day be an episode on the zone. So like find out the story, the lore of the zone, the quest, the main quests. But the quests in vanilla are really kind of bad. The story is just incomplete. I started doing, I don't even know if this is the main quest. There was this mystery crystal that I had to investigate. I investigated the crystal. and I had like 3 quests back and forth, and at the end of the day it told me, we don't know anything about the crystal, but here, have this sick staff. So I took the staff. I was pretty happy with the staff, but the story got nowhere. And there was also this guy here that was imprisoned. He said he was imprisoned for thousands of years. I set him free after a bunch of quests. I have to kill some ghosts. I had to kill some imps.
Well, that's nice for him.
Eventually we set him free. He didn't even move. He just sat there. He said, finally, I'm free.
Well, thank God for that.
You're free, you know? You're free. Hello? And he just sat there. Quest complete and job well done. Now, to be fair, the game is 17 years old, and even though I know for sure there are some really deep and even like dark quests, it's probably unrealistic to expect most of them to be like that, or even anything larger than a small minority. But this whole story and lore thing was gonna be plan B. At the end of the day, the main thing that drives me away from this is just the fact that it's very slow, and I have to go extra slow as to not die. And it's just, I'm spending most of the day just auto-attacking bears in the forest.
It's
Part
boring.
of me kind of wanted to just keep going and just die organically, just stop paying attention. But I don't want to throw. I don't like throwing. So I'd rather just be honest with myself and with you guys, and it's just not for me. That's it. I didn't necessarily want this to be the video for today, but this is what we got. I want to be honest, and I want to thank you guys for watching. If you're playing Season of Mastery yourself, then good luck to you. And if you're doing hardcore mode, then best of luck to you. And if you're also doing Road to Ragnaros, I don't know, you need a miracle. But the most important part is that you have fun. Thanks a lot for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
Yeah, I mean, I can see where he's coming from for sure.
Let's call them.
I think, like, really, whenever he listed out, like,
I just want to start by saying I'm not trying to shit on anyone else's fun. It's about the adventure. That in my mind, in my brain, I'm trying to go fast. WoW made it in my brain. If I go slow, I'm doing it wrong. If I'm trying to rush it while at the same time trying to not die, while at the same time not being allowed to group up, do dungeons more than once, trade items, it just sucks the fun out for me even more, especially the non-grouping part.
Yeah, like, that's weird. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just like, that's like, I would kind of feel the same way. Why you play hardcore? Well, isn't it obvious? He thought it would be fun, and he tried it, and he didn't really enjoy it, so he stopped playing it. And people were watching him, and he made a video to tell him why he wasn't going to do it anymore. You know, I mean, that's pretty much about it. Want to continue with Season of Mastery, but not hardcore social rules? Because whenever you do that, you just get a bunch of, like, weirdos that get mad at you for not following their rule set. Like, that's just what ends up happening. Even if it shouldn't, that's just what happens. And they'll, like, constantly try to, like, invalidate what you're doing and say that it's not real hardcore. So it's like, why even engage with that? Like, I mean, to be fair, this is a hardcore character. I've never died on this character. And I have no intention of even getting the Soul of Iron buff. I don't care. If I don't die all the way to 60, cool. If I do, okay. Oh, difficulty being in-game, not sure how they came up with the non-grouping thing. And that's really the factor to me, right, is that the hardcore thing is cool, but killing Ragnaros hardcore just seems silly. And also, like, this is kind of what I said about, like, WoW Classic Hardcore, is that it's just boring. It's like you spend so much time, boring to you maybe? Well, of course it's boring to me. Like, why would I like, and like, obviously, like, I'm making a judgment as to whether people will find certain content interesting, but who better than me to make a judgment on what WoW content is entertaining or not? I think that if there's anybody out there, I'd be pretty much at the top of that list, at least in the top 5. I know what's entertaining content and what's not, and watching somebody single kill mobs over and over is just fucking boring. It's just simply fucking boring. God complex? No, I'm just confident in what I know. It's a little bit different. It's a subjective matter, and that's always the case, is that it's a subjective matter to a certain degree, and you're gonna have some people that will agree and some that won't. There's a spectrum of how fun it is for everyone. Yeah, I think so, but like, I think that really, it doesn't really go any farther to me than if you look on Twitch and the viewership of WoW is pretty much like nothing. And if the hardcore content is that exciting, then you would expect to see probably more people watching it. And that's why I looked. And then also, this guy's video only has 45 dislikes and 1.3k likes. So at least his audience agrees with him. I'll read some of the comments. It's a niche community, what the fuck, man? I know it's a niche community. And like, okay, so I want to make sure that people understand this, because I think that this will happen a number of times. I don't think that WoW hardcore is like something that shouldn't be allowed or something like that. I just don't think that really has mainstream appeal to revitalize interest in the game, because I do think that it's a niche community thing. That's the point that I'm making. And that's the point to be mainstream. Well, I understand that, but I think a lot of content creators and a lot of other people, like, they look at it as like content. They want to do this for content for the stream. More likely to stop and give something negative and positive. It's hard to say. Amateurs when you're fun and we do it with your friends. Why my hardcore characters don't get that far. Yeah, I mean, I just play and do whatever the hell I want, man. That's about all there is to it. And I asked 5 of my friends, old gamers, if they'll be playing class with me. None of them were interested. Just killed motivation to play it. I think that if Blizzard added in, like, if they had made a lot of changes to leveling, viewership went up for a lot of streamers that played hardcore, though. Well, you're right. And I think that viewership absolutely would go up. It makes sense. Tactics, I've actually been watching you. I'm one of those people. I've seen you level and everything. I think that you're a rogue, if I'm not mistaken. So I do agree that viewership does increase it does increase with hardcore, etc. But I do think that I don't think that playing hardcore WoW with a bunch of restrictions and rules is something that is good for the health of the game. I don't think this is something that Blizzard should invest time into or should develop the game around. I think it's something that can exist on its own, and, you know, it's kind of independent. But I don't think it's really that big of a deal. Why? Because I find it counterintuitive towards why a lot of people play MMOs. And I think also because it's a game that requires a lot of cooperation, having a hardcore mode in a game that requires cooperation is just asking for frustration. And also whenever you add in rules that are like no trading and no grouping with people and no taking these things or whatever and having people help you, all of these things reduce the social experience and the shared environment that I think Classic really thrives off of. So whenever you take these things and you counterbalance them with a hardcore mode, I feel like you really get a boring game, basically. I wanted to play Season Mastery, I just don't really feel like leveling again because I like the changes they made to higher end. Bro, that's exactly how I feel. Like, I want to level in the new, I want to do the new Molten Core. So I just think it'll be fun to do. But I don't want to level to 60. Oh my god, come on. Fuck. Oh my god, I don't want to level 60. It's too late, they can't stop the snowball of decline. I don't know about that, it depends. It's like, how many of you guys would probably log on to Season of Mastery if leveling took you 2 weeks of casual play and that was it? No. Most people wouldn't even do it for that. I get that. But I think there's at least 20-30% of people in here that would. I hate leveling, it's about in-game with friends. Well, I think questing and playing for 2 weeks casually is fine. But like with a lot of other seasonal games, like what other games are seasonal? Like PoE is the only one that I play that's seasonal. I guess like Diablo 3. You just go through the leveling process so fast. And like OSRS, like isn't the OSRS like resource acquisition like rates like way higher in like Pathfinder and shit? It's not like 40% higher, it's like 6x and shit. Yeah. Like 20x exactly. That's for leagues, not the game. That's what we're talking about is leagues. Experience boost in new Season of Mastery is not enough. Yeah, I agree. Reason people love hardcore is it's a completely different experience. The thing is though is like I don't think it's that big of an experience difference. I think that it's just like I did Iron Man back in WoW and I got up to level 84, and I also have done like I did hardcore Inferno and vanilla Diablo 3, and I did all of these things. OSRS, I never did OSRS. To be fair, I never did do OSRS. And I don't find it to be a really different experience. I think that it's just you play the game and it takes longer. You haven't done hardcore, mate? Trust me, you haven't. But I have. I had to level with all grays back then. Like I trust me, like I've watched people play hardcore. It's just killing one mob at a time. Wow, that's super fun. Hardcore's not Iron Man? But it pretty much is though, right? Because like hardcore is like you die once, it's over. And Iron Man is like you die once, it's over. It's the same thing, man. meant just no trading. Oh, I guess like WoW is like different. Like they might call it something different or something. Yeah, maybe that's it. Not allowed to trade in hardcore WoW. So if you have Soul of Iron, you can't trade items? Can you not have people trade you items if you have Soul of Iron? You can? What? Is that what's popping on? What's up, man? Congrats on 1 million subs, by the way, Jimmy. Hope you're doing well. You can do everything with Soul of Iron? Yeah. This game feels good, man. Yeah. I'll probably get there pretty soon myself. We'll see what happens. Soul of Iron just shows if you die. A lot of people that play hardcore only care for Soul of Iron. All the other shit, nobody can prove or say as long as you don't stream. Yeah, exactly. Like, anything that's not measurable online or like through the game, nobody's really gonna give a shit about it. Yeah, it's just like, who gives a fuck, man? Yeah, like an add-on or whatever, like... Wish you had slash deaths. Yeah, that'd be good. Dog shit community imposing arbitrary rules make themselves feel better about making terrible decisions and continue playing. Elaborate. Well, basically because like you can always like... Do I really have to elaborate on like why it's stupid to make it to where people can't trade and can't do dungeons a number of times and stuff? Like, it's just stupid. It's just fucking stupid. Like, I don't know really what else to say. Like, I could explain it for 20 minutes, but I don't think that it really makes any sense to do that. Gaming's supposed to be fun, it doesn't sound fun. Yeah, exactly. Just to challenge yourself. To me, I just, I don't find like these things to be challenging. And I don't think that they really are challenging. I think that the way that you play hardcore is, it's about risk management. And if you have good risk management, then you're going to be successful in hardcore. So like, for example, people are like, man, how are they ever... Like, this is, I think, the best example that I have that people don't really understand how people play hardcore. Taking no risks is boring. You know what's more boring than taking no risks? Re-leveling a character back to 60. That's even more boring. Yeah, starting over. So here's what people are going to do whenever they get to level 60 in like hardcore. They're going to level a second character or wait to watch other people and see what they do. And by practicing it on characters that are not hardcore, they will then get the gear on the hardcore characters and then do the exact same thing. So whenever you're watching a lot of these people do hardcore, you're not really watching them doing it for the first time. Like, they've practiced it a number of times and then they do it. Does that make sense? Yeah, you guys see what I'm saying. What are the question? Wait, people are giving me question marks? What? That makes no sense. Oh my god. Oh no. Oh my god. Explain how it's different from Palace of the Dead. Sure. Do I really need to explain how getting to 60 in hardcore WoW is different from Palace of the Dead? Oh my god. Oh wow. Do you expect people to level 60s for practice? Absolutely. I think any guild, here's my opinion, I think any guild that is going to genuinely attempt to do Ragnaros hardcore with the Soul of Iron buff will either extensively watch VODs of other guilds and get it down to a science, or they will level up another character themselves or do it on a PTR that is simulated like the servers that are on Season of Mastery. And I'll give you two different examples of why I think this will happen. So the first example of why I think this will happen is because, actually 3 examples, let's do 3 examples. So the first reason why I think this will happen is because this is exactly how people used to do Iron Man and retail WoW, is that they had a character, and this was so common that there was even a term for the character, and the character was called a scout. And the scout character would level ahead of the Iron Man character in order to kind of go through all of the potential pitfalls and mistakes that the player could make. And then in the process of doing that, the player would then go through it on the Iron Man character with that knowledge in head, in their head and in hand. So that's the first example I would use. The second example I'm going to use is going to be with in ICC. So back in Ice Crown Citadel, the amount of attempts that you could do on the last bosses, so Professor Putricide, the Lich King, Sintragosa, and Blood Queen Lanethel, were limited. You could only do 15 to 50 attempts depending on which week it was. And because of that, you had a number of guilds that leveled up and geared out extra characters only for the purpose to practice the boss fights on those extra characters, to preserve the limited attempts that they had on their main characters, in the order and in the hope of being able to learn the fight and not waste their limited attempts. So this is the second example that I'm going to use. Now the third example I'm going to use is going to be for Classic WoW. In Classic WoW, do you ever wonder like why apes and these other guilds were so good on the first day of these new raids? You guys ever curious? Like, damn, these guys just knew all the mechanics exactly right. Do you know why? It's because they ran their own private PTR servers in which they practiced the raids with full raid buffs and world buffs simulated, and they did it on their own private PTRs. And they would run it over and over and over. If you want more information about this, you could ask Stay Safe about it, because I know his guild did it too. Power did. So they had their own private PTR. Apes never did, but Progress did. Yeah, and Progress beat Apes and Nax, so I guess that goes to prove what I'm saying. And also, Apes never said they did. They could have done it, and they could say they didn't do it, so they would look better. I mean, we don't really know, but why does it matter? The reason why it matters is because people were saying that what I said, which was that people would level up secondary characters to do the raids ahead of time and to do content ahead of time in order to prepare themselves to do it on their Iron Man Soul of Iron character, they were saying that that was not true. And so I gave 3 examples of players in different times in the game doing things that were just like that in different ways. So that's why I gave those examples. You understand? Yeah, I mean, you guys are picking up what I'm putting down, right? It sounds fun and fair. Well, it's not about that. It's just, it is what it is. Nobody said that? Yeah, they did. What do you mean? Like, like, you guys remember people saying that, right? It was like literally 5 minutes ago. Yeah, they did. There were a number of people that said that. But that's how people are going to be able to complete RAG and everything. Is they'll do it with different levels of gear. It was one person? No, it was more than that. It was like, I don't know, probably like 5 or 6 people. Like, I didn't count. Chat's trying to gaslight me. Yeah, like, it's just weird, man. It's about risking your progress. Yeah, people aren't gonna risk fucking hours and days of progress, weeks of progress, without being absolutely sure that they're gonna be successful. So that's how people are going to do it in hardcore. So hardcore asks people to have 4 characters level 60? Yeah, potentially. Look at how accomplished I am. I simmed it all out for hours, so whenever I had to do it, there was almost no risk. Herdur, I'm so good. Well, I don't really agree with that entire logic. I think that there is a certain amount of skill, and maybe not even skill, but there's a certain amount of effort and difficulty that goes into preparing a perfect run. And the amount of preparation that goes into it. You see what I'm saying? So in PvE, whenever a new boss is out, people practice on standard before doing it slow and self out in hardcore. Yeah, which is a smart thing to do. Well, absolutely. So when people do an amazing speedrun, that sucks because there's no risk. Yeah, exactly. It's like saying that people who practice DS1 speedruns who spawn themselves the halberd don't deserve extra credit because they practice with the halberd. That's actually a really great example, Elbin. So basically in a lot of Dark Souls speedruns, one of the most popular weapons that people use is the Black Knight's halberd, which drops from it drops from the Black Knight in people kill him. It's the garden right next to the shield and the Hydra. And like it's 20% chance of dropping. So people spawn themselves the halberd because they want to simulate, yeah, Darkroot Basin. People want to simulate the experience because that's the win condition, right? So they want to simulate the win condition. I don't think most people like hardcore because they want to watch insane leveling runs. It's different for everybody. It's hard to say. But yeah, that's kind of what I was talking about, and that's why I thought it was interesting. Because there are some people that have like a misunderstanding of the way that people do progress in hardcore. I don't get the point of the rant then. The point of it is that there is an element of, I don't think you understand the art community. Hardcore community found a way to bring meaning back into WoW. Killing one mob over and over and having risk management sounds boring in rhetoric, but whenever you play hardcore, a green drop is more meaningful than a purple drop or in retail or TVC. Nothing worth having comes easy. You had a great video during WoD era. You can read about LFG taking meaning and value out of the game. One of the problems that you run into whenever you say something about bringing meaning or content back into the game is that a lot of times, especially with mini classes, if you're playing with another person especially, you don't really need those types of advantages. The solution is just to kill mobs that are lower level than you. Like, for example, a hunter can do it. A hunter does not need all blue gear. A hunter does not need all like epic gear, or best in slot dungeon gear that's enchanted in order to level up. The things that you're saying that are required are not required. I don't feel need to shit on hardcore players as much. Well, I'm not shitting on them. I'm explaining, like, I'm talking about it. I find it interesting to talk about like how does a game like this play out? I don't know. I find it interesting, man. What do you want me to say? Isn't that saying that marathon isn't hard because you're not sprinting? No, I think that's not really the same case because, like, one of them is like physical activity that you have to train over sometimes years of preparation. There's no real physical activity or cardio training that you need to do in order to just keep killing the same mob over and over. This isn't a test of athleticism or really even endurance. I mean, to a degree it is endurance, but it's also, I think that a better way to describe it is the ability to endure monotony, which in my opinion is not impressive or exciting. Yeah, it's a battle of attrition. I mean, to a certain degree it is, yeah. Yeah, tedious. I don't understand why you keep referring to it as killing the same mob over and over. Where do you get this idea? Because if there's a quest that you find too hard, that's what you do instead. If you feel like there's an area that's risky, you just stop doing that area. And then you just keep killing the same mobs over and over. Level 15s are camping Murlocs and Stone Cairn Light. Yeah. That's what vanilla questing is. Yeah, and so that's what you do. People play hardcore, feel attacked, never their favorite playstyle is being analyzed. Well, the reason why I think they're being analyzed, the reason why I think some hardcore players are upset about it is that I do think there is like a huge element of ego that goes into playing hardcore for like any game, but I think for WoW it's especially the case. And because like that ego and the difficulty of the game is being put into context, and they can't just explain it with terms that, value and meaning and effort and challenge and things like this, but you really actually sit down and explain what the process of doing it is. I think that it does attack their ego to an extent. And so they're trying to explain how that's not the case, or it's actually really hard. And, it's the same people that were saying before, right? That people weren't going to PTR the dungeons or the raids before they do them, or bring scout characters, right? These are just people that they're trying to find a way to preserve value in something beyond what it really exists for. You want to feel good about finding a new strategy for never dying, and us analyzing it makes them feel less special. I think you're right about the second part for sure. Played hardcore, and how you describe it wasn't how it was at all. I grouped for dungeons, I quested, I just didn't grind the same mobs over and over. I think that's one way to play it. You know, that's definitely one way to play it. Do hardcore a different way, no UI, handwritten quest log, 0 grinding. Yeah, that's fun. Anecdotal. Yeah, I think so, because the reality is that, and this is really the question that I have for you is, if you're in a situation and you're gonna do a quest and the quest has like super fast respawns, or it's like really hard to do, what are you gonna do? You see what I mean? Like you're either going, yeah, you either group up and do it with a group of people, or you wait until you're higher level, or you skip the quest, or you try to do it and you die. That's pretty much what the options are. And I think most people don't do the last one. No, for our feelings here, my own experience can be different to what you're describing, so I'm trying to understand. Well, what I'm saying is that, like, Groovesy, what level did you get to in hardcore? Yeah, what level did you get to? Level 44. That's pretty good. That's good. For sure. Most people definitely do the last one. Most RuneScape hardcore to do that. Content creators mostly play it safe. Yeah. Level 17 died to Defias pillagers. On speedrunning, specifically in hardcore, because that's an interesting part to me. Yeah, I think hardcore speedrunning is a way different thing. Doesn't matter how you're trying to twist the challenge to make it easy and boring. Doesn't change the fact that people are dying left and right, struggling to make it. There's obviously some major flaw in your theory. Okay, this is going to be kind of a weird example. The reason why the people die is because they get impatient. I can almost guarantee you, the reason why a lot of people die in the hardcore runs is because they get impatient, or they do something wrong that they should not have done. Yeah, they get overconfident or something like that. They get distracted, but it's mostly impatience. They're like, oh, I can do it. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. And usually the thing is, with a game like WoW, it trains you to say it'll be fine, and usually it is fine. And it is. It's fine until it's not. And then whenever it's not, you're fucking dead. So what ends up happening is that that's why you see people that make mistakes like that. That's why you see people that fuck up. And that's the biggest reason. Overconfidence, slow, and insidious killer. Yeah, exactly. Or you just make mistakes. Like we watched the Joker. Was this it? I guess I can probably just find a clip through this, right? Yeah, there we go. So this is whenever Joker died, right? There it is. So, really, like, he kind of deserved it, to be honest. He got overconfident. Yeah. This is an endurance, is on autopilot for 20 hours of farming humanoids. You forgot skeletons don't flee. Yeah, and like that's the kind of mistakes. That's the reason why people die in classic WoW. Is that it's like it's a thing where you can't let your guard down. Like this was 100% his fault for doing this. like 100% for putting himself in this position. He could have ice blocked earlier. He's sleep deprived. Yeah, exactly. And like that's the kind of mistakes that people make in hardcore, right? They make a mistake that you make after you've been playing the game for a long time. Like I've had deaths as well. Like I've had, let me see if I can find it. If I can show the Palace of the Dead, the time I died in there. I died on 4 like 120 or something like that. I'm not gonna waste a whole lot of time trying to find this. But if I can find it easily, I will. Fuck. Palace of the Dead is time too. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's too bad. Well, anyway, I got. Okay, that's the point. And I got because I just walked into a void zone. That's it. I just walked into a void zone. There was no real excuse for it. There was nothing really else to it. Like, I just fucked up. Control F. Why would I try to Control F and find something that's named by somebody that's not me? Why would I know that somebody would name it Palace of the Dead? It's not going to be called Asmongold Dies on Palace of the Dead floor 121. These are just random titles that are given by the people that clip the item. You just think about it. Yeah, that's about it. I'm not seeing it. Doesn't matter. How long ago was it? You have a viewer count whenever... Do I have a good viewer count whenever streaming Palace of the Dead? Yeah, I think people like watching me do Palace of the Dead. Stream on Aswell whenever you died in Palace of the Dead? No, I died the second time. Yeah, a second time. Want to die a third time? Yeah, I'm actually in the process of that. Viewers get really weird about Palace of the Dead. I don't even remember that. People liked watching you do it, but it wasn't a speed run. Well, Palace of the Dead is fundamentally a speed run, but not really. Like, I wasn't trying to do it as fast as I could. I was just trying to clear it within the time limit. It's time, so it's different. True. Are you Heaven on High after Palace of the Dead? Yeah, I am. But yeah, anyway, there's a speed run when going for leaderboards. Yeah, I know that. I'm reading the rules for hardcore, and I bet like half cheat, maybe more. Well, of course they cheat. The same thing happened with what do you call it? With like Project 60 and Project 70, Project 80. Remember all those that we did, like me, Soda, and everybody playing together? And like you constantly had people that were cheating. You constantly had people equipping the gear that they weren't supposed to equip and doing that. There's an app that records. Yeah, we had an app too, and people still found ways to get around it. They still found ways. They always had like these little excuses or explanations and different shit. Like, where is this is one of the best. The fuck is this? There it is. This is probably the best clip of all time.
Dude,
I actually have to kick you, dude. I'm not even kidding. Like, we have to find a different person. You have to completely start over if you want to be a part of the project. I absolutely have to kick you, especially since this is on my stream.
I'm not gonna lie. People have been spamming it, and I didn't say anything because he sounds like he's really young, and I felt terrible.
Yeah, no, I feel bad too, but rules are rules.
I don't feel bad. You don't cheat.
Yeah, I guess I shouldn't have did it.
Shouldn't have done it.
Corrects his grammar.
That's good. All that way.
It's all good, man. All right, well, here's the dealio. I'm gonna kick you from the guild. You're gonna have to level up again if you want to be a part of it, dude. I'm really sorry.
It's alright. I cheated. I shouldn't.
That's right.
All right, man. Have fun, dude. Peace out.
We did it, chat.
And he's gone. Feels bad, dude. Where's that mage? Whose guild is he in? Is it ours? Whose guild is it?
And people cheating this fucking game every time, man. And we had an add-on for that shit too, and then nobody caught it until somebody inspected them. In 2017? Oh my god, that's so disturbing. Bullying kids, Pog you? Fuck yeah, dude. Those are the days. That shit was lit, man. That's so scary. It was 5 years ago. What was the cheating? He was using items he got from like a... who cares? I think he was using items he got from the Dungeon Finder reward system, which had like better stats than what you'd normally have. This is the best clip of all time and lit, etc. Why can't hardcore be like this? Because it was only interesting because it was McConnell and Soda Poppin'. If it was just two random hardcore WoW Andys, nobody would care. That's just the truth. That's why people liked it. Truth comes out. I'm sorry, it's just, it is what it is. I don't make the rules on Twitch. Those two randoms, that'd be kind of cringe. Yeah, people will be getting mad at them. Everybody starts off as a nobody ending. True. True. Once a cheater, always a cheater, let's be real. I don't know. I mean, it's a kid. Who gives a fuck? We're just gonna reconsider playing hardcore. As I said, man, I think that this is my, you want to know my honest, real fucking opinion about hardcore WoW? I think hardcore WoW is something that's pushed primarily by classic streamers that are out of content, and nobody will watch them do anything else. So they create an artificial challenge in order to keep interest with the viewers. And the truth is that it's not really that interesting to watch in general. and it's something that they made that they want people to watch so they can have content for themselves because there's nothing else to see in general. I think the idea of it is kind of cool, but I think that the way it plays out is boring. So yeah, that's my honest opinion, is I think that it was created by people that just wanted to recycle classic WoW content because their audiences wouldn't watch them for anything else. It's like speedrunners, it's a game in a game. Well, so is pet battles. Doesn't make any sense. You have to judge the system itself. But yeah, that's kind of the way I feel about it. I'll be honest, I will definitely tune in to watch the first hardcore Molten Core run. I will 100% tune in to watch that happen, and I will be watching it like I watch a NASCAR race. I am waiting for them to crash. I am waiting for it to go wrong. I'm like just hoping, I'm like, please spawn a core hound. Please spawn a core hound. They're like, okay, please lose aggro. Like, tank saying parry. Yes, do it. Parry him again, man. Parry the tank again. Come on. They won't reach Lucifron? No, I think people will clear Ragnaros on hardcore. I think so for sure. No, they won't. No, I think that they will. The reason why I think they will is that everybody is going to go in there with Flask of the Titans on. Everybody is going to go in there with full buffs. Everybody is going to go in there with pretty much full pre-raid bis. Everybody is going to go in there with the mind-controlled UBRS NPCs casting the fire resistance buff on them. They are going to have everything on them. And they are going to probably have already done the Season of Mastery Molten Core before on secondary characters that are not hardcore, like I mentioned earlier. And they're going to go in there, they're going to be prepared, they're going to know exactly what they're doing, and they're going to be able to do it. No world buffs? Is that a world buff? No, it's not a world buff. They won't have pre-raid bis though, as far as I know. Why would they not have pre-raid bis? Like, if you have one shot at something, wouldn't you want to give it the best shot possible? Yeah, why would they not have... Like, maybe they won't have... I think that they will be primarily pre-raid bis. You can't auction house on hardcore? I'm not talking about like a made-up rule thing. I'm talking about the Soul of Iron. Like, nobody cares about some made-up rules that a few people downloaded an add-on for. Like, nobody gives a shit about that. People care about the Soul of Iron buff. That's what matters. There's no... Like, whatever your add-on is telling you or whatever, like, it's just... It doesn't matter. Nobody cares about that stuff. Of course they're gonna use the auction house. They don't have the fire res buff from UBRS. It's literally a handy hint. OG Vanilla Handbook tells you it was put in the game for the purpose of Molten Core. I don't think Blizzard ever actually made a comment on that. I think that was actually the fire res buff was the point where Blizzard, that's how Blizzard came up with the term clever use of game mechanics, was whenever people use the mind control with the fire res buff. People actually care about that add-on though. I'm sure dozens of people care about it. I'm sure that dozens of people care about that add-on. Absolutely. Is your opinion on Blizzard nerfing sets for lower difficulty raids? I have no idea. They have 3 full guilds with that add-on? Oh yeah, I'm sure that they will. And within a month of continuing to prog it and probably running out of steam and getting bored, they'll have 1 whole guild. And probably within 2 months, they'll have 200 people. I'm not a Debbie Downer. Well, I am being Debbie Downer. I am, because I think it's stupid. It's just stupid. It's stupid and antithetical to what an MMO is. I'm being realistic too. I think it's stupid, but I also think this is what's going to happen. You're taking not being better for the game, let people have fun. Oh, I think so. But I do think that people will be able to kill. All I'm saying is I do think that there will be Ragnaros kills with the Soul of Iron buff. I do. Absolutely do. Doesn't it shit on a community event? I am shitting on it. The reason why I'm shitting on it is because I think that people use the event to shit on other people that aren't doing it. I think it's a method for people to assert some false idea of superiority. I think it's cringe, it's gatekeeping, and it's annoying. Who's done that? Tons of people do that. Tons of fucking people do that. Abso-fucking-lutely. People hardcore shame all the time? Yeah. 100% man. That's why I just banned some of the people who said I wasn't, that's not happening. Like, there's been, like, a lot of times whenever, like, I feel like what happens is, like, this has been, like, an issue that, this is, like, an issue I've had to run into a lot recently whenever I've talked about, like, different issues that are, what do you call it? Different issues, like, that I want to talk about that are, like, more complex. I always feel like I get people gaslighting me for shit. And it's annoying, and it makes me not want to talk about stuff because, like, I'll try to talk about, like, just, like, something that I feel is obvious, and I'll have people that will, like, disagree with it in, like, some, like, really dumb, weird way. And I don't want to deal with that. So, like, if I read comments and, like, people that are, like, disagreeing about shit that's really simple, I just ban them. Yeah, that's all there is to it. Like, I've been in the community 15 years. I've seen people constantly tell people, oh, well, you didn't do it this way. You didn't do it that way. Like, if you really think that there are going to be hardcore players that are not all talking about, oh, well, you know, he's got Soul of Iron, but he's not hardcore. Like, abso-fucking-lutely, man. Disagree with common sense. Yeah, exactly. It's just common sense, man. I've seen it happen. I've had people make comments about it. That's all there is to it. They always do that, yeah. And then people tell me that's not happening. Yeah, just ban them. It's delusional. It's gaslighting. People bitch, yeah, people bitch about rich and everything like that. Yeah. It's that simple. They made Soul Iron because of hardcore though. They just didn't have the time to implement more stuff than the buff. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, absolutely. That's clearly what it is. I mean, of course they put Soul of Iron in because of hardcore. People are shitting on you and other streamers during Original Classic because you weren't playing the way they wanted. Yeah. Yeah, they do it with everything. Yeah, Final Fantasy raid beat too easily. People in the run got carried. Yeah. It happens with everything, man. It's the same thing, like, I'll give you another, like, a different example. And, like, we gotta talk about this. I have to go to bed. I have to sleep. Is, like, you know how that Tamia girl got, what do you call it? Like, she got a bunch of subs or some shit? She got, like, 50k subs? Yeah, yeah. And, like, everybody in, like, the comments about it were just spamming about how she didn't deserve it. And about how, like, you know, it was because of who she knows. It's this, it's that, it's whatever. If there's one thing I've learned on the internet, it's that whenever somebody has an accomplishment or somebody does something crazy, people always look for a reason to minimize it. It doesn't matter what it is. I remember whenever I said that Mike Ybarra had like all 20s in like the challenge modes or whatever, Mythic Plus, people are like, oh, he probably got carried. Oh, he probably, yeah, probably got carried. Like, that's what it was. Yeah, he got carried. So like, I mean, this shit happens with everything. It's not just about that. It's about everything. That's usually true. I don't really think it is, and I think that the obsession around it is probably one that's built out of jealousy and envy, which is not really a good thing. And I think if something comes out of a bad emotion, I think that whatever comes out of it, regardless if it's true or not, usually is in some way bad. And inferiority, yeah, I think there's that too. Purity test, gatekeeping, and validation, absolutely. So, like, to me, it's like the conversation is not. It's like it's not fun to have. They deserve it, probably not. Who deserves that kind of money? I think that deserving things is just it's a construct made up by naive people to order the world. Unless, like, you pay money for something and they say they're gonna do something for you, like, that's just, it's some fucking bullshit people just make up so they feel better about, like, why they don't have something. Deserve anything. Nobody deserves a damn thing. Unless you pay for it, you don't deserve it. Then why should people celebrate it? It's not about like celebrating or not celebrating. Like, you can be happy that somebody did something or accomplished something without trying to like you know, shit on the person. You know, we're trying to, like, you know, contextualize it in a way that makes it less important. Pay more ways than just money. Yeah, I mean, like, obviously, but that's all I'm really trying to say, is that this green knight spent an effort trying to catch a fish, and I deserve the fish. I think that there's a lot of people that, and this is It's like sports. We won. They won. You didn't do shit. I would kind of disagree on the sports. The we won, because the odds are like, I mean, these sports teams are fucking. They are funded by like the fans, and like the fans buy like, you know, tickets to the games. They buy the memorabilia and everything, right? They fund these teams. So it's like, yeah, I mean, like they weren't the ones throwing the ball, but in a way, it's like there's a greater force behind it besides just the people on the field. It's the same as like the coach is part of we too. Now, like obviously, if you're sitting there on the stands with your face painted up, you're a little bit different than the head coach, but it's the same idea. So if you win something, do we? Because we fund you. I think the community does, yeah. To an extent, yeah. But I think that in general, like people like with streamers, and this has been very common in the past like year or so, is that streamers have, there's been a lot of conversations about, you know, like the amount, like, because I think it's become much more public, the amount of money that streamers make nowadays. Because it's like you see like these streamers that buy like $200,000 cars, they're buying multi-million-dollar houses, etc. And it leads people to ask the question, do they deserve the amount of money that they make? And the answer is yes and no. If people give you the money, then you deserve the money that they give you. Right? This is an agreement between two people, and they gave you the money. But I think that the entire, they earned it, yeah. Deserve, like, nobody deserves a damn thing. You work hard, deserve whatever you have. But I think that there's been a rising level of discontentment and a rising level of resentment towards a lot of larger streamers, because a lot of people who, in my opinion, are quite naive, thought that they had things in common with this multi-millionaire streamer that lives in a mansion. And now as they see that these people are sharing more of their lives, streaming is growing and getting bigger, they're seeing how not true that is. And I think that's not over. That's going to continue happening. What's your thoughts on streaming being predatory? That's just not true at all. That's just stupid. Yeah, it's just stupid. But yeah, I mean, that's the... I hate the commercialization of streaming. Well, the thing is, like, that's going to be even more the case, man. Is that streaming is going to get even more commercialized. It's going to get even more, in some ways, fake. And this is just like, this is the beginning. This is like Act 1 of the play. And this is a 3-act play or something like that. It's going to continue happening because that's where more money is. And people care about money more than they care about anything else, even other people. So what's going to happen is that you're going to see less authenticity, more fakery, more bullshittery, and this will continue to happen. EA banning Doc because of Twitch is because of that. All corporations are in bed with each other. Well, it's not just like, but that's going to be the same thing with streamers too. And this will become more and more the case. And I think that there are people out there, there's a good and a bad side to both sides in a way. I think that there is like some virtue in wanting to have an honest interaction with a real person online, where you can just tune into the stream and hang out and just have fun. I think there is some virtue in that, and it's okay to ask for that and want that. I think also simultaneously, it's okay if you want to... I don't want that thing to kill me. Rise of streaming huge influx of content organizations? Yeah, absolutely there are. Yeah, there will 100% be. What the fuck is this music? I'm leaving. And anyway, so you're gonna see this more and more and more. It's around 2012. Twitch has changed big in that direction, and it will continue to change bigger. And it will. These kinds of things have, like, I guess what you'd call like a multiplier behind them. It will become more because it is becoming more. They're like self-perpetuating. There's a feedback loop, yeah, whatever you want to call it. So this is happening a lot with streaming, and another website will rise again. I think that you will see other websites like Twitch, but I don't really think that it's going to happen in the same way. And the reason why I don't think it's going to happen in the same way is that the ways to make money online have already been discovered and figured out. So any website that comes out that's online will be existing within the framework of the online monetization that we have now. So you're not going to have another website where people just don't take donations, for example, or something like that. Because, like, why would somebody stream on a platform like that? And even if they couldn't take donations on that platform, they'd probably find some other way to profit off of it. This will just continue happening. You see what I'm saying? They just post their PayPal or something like that? Yeah, or a number of other things. It's also a social monopoly. Well, it is, because like a lot of big streamers, people get paid for the work they do, a good thing in most cases. Well, it is a good thing that people get paid for the work they do. Yeah, sure. All I'm saying is that the people that are getting paid for the work they do, these people are, as I said, there's a lot of people that watch streams that are becoming disillusioned with the streamers that they watched, and even watching streams in general, because they feel like the connection that they had with like that kid that plays video games in his mom's room is not there anymore, because they learned that that kid that's playing video games in his mom's room is actually making $800,000 a year. So because money to so many people is such a defining factor in defining the experience of their life, that it's hard for them to have the same connection whenever they had that that wall broken down. Big streamers deserve the amount of money they make over Joey working 9 to 5 at Target. Nobody deserves anything. I've always said that. You only deserve what you have. That's it. As I said, deserve is a word that's used for naive people so they can order the world. Deserve isn't real. There's what you have and what you don't have, what is and what is not. Yeah, you get what you fucking deserve. Yeah, there you go. People don't deserve a comfortable life? No, they don't. Nobody deserves a damn thing. Now, in my opinion, I think that a country should say that people deserve a comfortable life. I agree with that. Like, if I was in like, I vote for that I think people in the country should deserve a comfortable life. Like, absolutely. Right? But, like, this is not really a deserve. There's no divine opinion of this. This is just my opinion. You see what I mean? This is just my opinion, what I think is probably best. People live in poverty deserve that? Well, some do, yeah. Some people live in poverty because they don't want to work. Absolutely. Some, it's unfortunate that they're like that. Nothing's black or white or anything like that. A socialist take? No, I don't think it is either. I don't think it's a socialist take at all. Some people work 2 jobs to live in poverty and work a better job. And quit working one of those jobs and go to school instead. Like, what are you supposed to do, bruh? That's an insensitive take? No, it's not. It's not an insensitive take at all. Stop having kids? Yeah, don't, unironically, yeah, stop having kids if you can't take care of them. If you can't take care of your fucking kids, you shouldn't have had them. That was a stupid fucking mistake to do that, and now you signed a kid up for a life of poverty. I had to deal with that whenever I was a kid. I didn't appreciate that shit at all. So yeah, that's exactly what I mean. Most kids are accidents, bro? Yeah, because people didn't use a fucking condom. That's probably why. Or they think, yeah, most, yeah. Well, I mean, like, really? Exactly, I agree, yeah. It's insensitive? Good. The world isn't... the world's not always sensitive. Sometimes reality is not as, it is not all rainbows and butterflies. Virtue Andy's out in full force? No, it's just, it's delusional kids. Like, that's what it is. Delusional kids. Like, listen, I grew up, I've seen some of my friends work hard and be successful, and I've seen other of my friends get addicted to drugs. There's a big... I think this is unhealthy, is I see this a lot on streams, is that a lot of streamers, especially streamers, never want to encourage their audience to take accountability for their position in life. It's always the government, it's the system, something else, it's out of your control. And I think to some point that's true sometimes, but it doesn't really matter if it's true or not, because it's still your life and you're accountable to ultimately only yourself. Whether you're successful or not, doesn't matter what advantages or disadvantages you have. And I see a lot of streamers that that pander to that, that it's okay to you know, like, to just assume that anything that goes wrong is not really your fault, or that, you know, like, the reason why you have like a bunch of like student debt or something like that is because of somebody else or something like that. Like, you signed that up, you decided to do that yourself. And I said this before, if you can't own your failures, you'll never own your successes. Neither of them will be yours. How's being educated a failure? Well, if being educated saddles you with a paycheck that you have to deal with every single month, that cripples your life and makes it impossible for you to grow as a person and take care of yourself, I would consider that a failure. Yeah. Yep. That's the cold, hard, honest truth. Failure of the system. So then what? So then what? So the system sucks? How does that help you? Like, you wake up tomorrow and you can change it? Good, change it. But until then, listen. In a month or so, it's going to be really cold. And in that month, I will probably wear a sweater. It's not cold right now, so I'm not wearing a sweater. I have no problem you know, working towards positive change. That's something I believe in. But that doesn't mean that you should be naive about what happens right now. That's the truth. You don't think you need a college education to succeed? Dumbest thing ever? Yeah. By extension, you say if you pay your taxes, you deserve to get education without being laden with enormous debt? Like, in my opinion, I think yes. Like, I'd be okay with paying for at least, like, some school. I don't think, like, every single person deserves to go to, like, a 4-year university and take whatever they want. I'm not sure if I really agree with that. But I think that, to some degree, yeah. Why not? Because the reason for it is this. Whenever you decide to take somebody else's money by threat of force, you have to have a damn good reason for it. And paying for somebody to go to art school, I don't think fits that. I don't. So fuck culture? I'd rather fuck culture than fuck everybody else. Yeah. One of them is just more important to me. And also, I don't think that you need to go to art school to define culture. This conversation every kid has with his dad. Probably why a lot of people have never heard it here before. No, it's not that. It's that, again, I think that there's a lot of people out there that paint a narrative that the world's out to get you, and everything that you have that goes wrong is somebody else's fault. And I hear this all the time, and I think it's probably one of the most unhealthy things that you can tell people. Was a person in their 20s who didn't get into art school? How'd that work out? Okay, dude. Okay, chill out. Why don't you relax? There's such thing as scholarships? Yeah, there's that too. Culture is so important. Without that, you wouldn't be playing WoW or any other games. I think that's just like, I think that's just, it's, the implication there is that you need to go to college in order to affect culture, which is just like, that's a ridiculous thing to say. It's just a ridiculous thing to say. But anyway, that's really the point that I'm making here, right? Is that I think that really, I don't even know why I brought this up or why I was talking about this. I have no idea. I hate that parents told me to follow my dreams of art instead of doing something realistic that gives you an actual paycheck. Well, why don't you just try and get a paycheck through art? Like, why would you be in, why don't you just try to do better art, and that way people give you money for it? Why don't you just do that? Just work your fucking ass off and be successful. How about that, instead of blaming your parents? It's not that easy. No, it's not. You're right, it's not. You're absolutely right. Work your ass off, comes to a guy successful, fall in a pile of money. I know. And I made videos for years. I took a big risk. I dropped out of school to do this. I took a lot of risks to do streaming and do all that. And it took me a lot of years to get into it and to be successful. It's a massive risk, man. Survivorship bias? Then start trying to survive. I can do it so everyone can? No, maybe not everybody can be a streamer, but you can be something else. I mean, like, are you gonna tell me that you have 0 talent points in real life? That you can't be anything, you can't do anything? Didn't you not want to go to school? No, I didn't really want to, but I just kind of felt like I had to. What's wrong with working at 9 to 5 and enjoying the simple things? Nothing. You do whatever you want. It's worth having a viable skill you can support yourself on. Doesn't have to be college. Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna be honest. I'm unmotivated and borderline retarded. My options are very limited. Then get really good at doing something that takes no effort. Like, yeah, spend as little time. Yeah, do that. You felt like you had to because you started. You had to because you started making money or something you love to do. Not everyone has that luck. Half the battle is finding something you love to do. Yeah, you're right. And that's why you try different things. And if there's nothing that you like to do, then, you know, fucking try different stuff. No government can decide what you love to do. No, but other people can. If they pay you for it, it certainly makes it a lot easier to like it. And I'll tell you that for sure, man. Point is, don't give up. That's not an option. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. Oftentimes, it's not enough to work your ass off. A lot of people give it their all and they're not successful. It also takes luck and/or connections. Then work smarter. You're right. You can take your head and you can hammer a nail through a piece of wood with your own forehead. Or you can use a hammer. Which one's better? Come on, man, be more real. It's as real as it gets, man. Yeah, it's as real as it fucking gets. What about if you have depression though? That sucks. It's gonna be really hard. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell people what to do about that. Yeah, like what do you want me to say? What happened to the RBG tournament you were making? I just never really did it. You gonna be the Great Turkey this year? Yeah, probably. Everyone was successful and there were no losers. Not everyone can be successful and that's life. Someone has to clean the toilets. I mean, like, to some degree, I think that can be true. But, that doesn't mean that person has to be you if you don't want it to be. Can I just kill myself too? Nah, there's no point killing yourself. You're gonna die anyway. Don't waste your time. What would you want to do in another life? Oh, I have no idea, man. Realness is pretty inspirational. I know there are some people that get upset about it. They get mad. But I think that it's important to say it because there's a lot of times that, especially for young guys, and this is for like guys like y'all that are like fucking 16 to 25, right? There's really not a lot of positive resources out there. A lot of people that are trying to actually make your life better. Most people are trying to scam you into buying their NFTs or their cryptocurrency or their workouts or their pre-workout supplement or their workout plan or their change your life plan or their their degree that's gonna in 4 years get you a job working for $40,000 a year with $15,000 a year of debt that you have to pay, and then they're gonna get pissed off at you for not doing a better job. There's a lot of guys that just don't have any. There's like nobody that ever tells them anything that's fucking real. People bullshit them around their whole life, and then it comes the point where, their life is bullshit, and they're pissed off about it. It sucks. Like my dad told me all this shit whenever I was a kid. So I got lucky in that regard. But some people don't have a parent that does that, or anything like that, and it's like I can't be somebody's dad. Like fuck no. But like it's about giving a message and like having a something to aspire to. Don't aspire to be me, by the way, but an ideal. If your dad knew about all these lessons, how come you grew up a broke bitch? Because I live with my mom, and my dad and my mom were divorced. And my dad was an executive at a company, and my mom was not. That's why. Did your dad ever not financially help you out? I mean, there were some times I would ask for money, he wouldn't give me money. Like, yeah, for sure. And like things he wouldn't do for me. But like my dad would have my back with like some things, but not with other things. You know, WoW subscription? Well, that he didn't know that. Yeah, that went under the radar. But yeah, I mean, the thing is that it's weird because, and it sounds weird to say that I would resent it sometimes, and I would wish that things were different whenever I was younger, but now that I'm older, I'm glad that they were exactly the way that they were. And if I could go back and, like, you know, rearrange things, I would not rearrange them at all. Does it force you into streaming, etc.? Well, my mom getting sick forced me into streaming, because I couldn't leave the house because I had to take care of her, and this was in like 2012. So that's why I started streaming, is because, and making YouTube videos actually at that time, is because I couldn't get a job, and I could barely even go to school because of that. And then the reason I started streaming, ironically, most people say they didn't start streaming for money. I did. All my teeth were falling out, and because I could never afford to go to the dentist or anything, and they were getting so bad that it was just terrible. And I went to the dentist, and they told me it would be like 50 grand to get all my teeth fixed. And I was like 25 at the time, like 24, 25. And obviously, like, that, I went home with like that bill, and I wanted to kill myself. And I was like, there's no way I can ever, oh, it's a sewer beast. I can ever get above that, right? I can never, you know, this is it. This is the end of my life. And then what I ended up doing is I started streaming, because I knew I couldn't pay for it with just the money that I made on YouTube. And so that's why I started streaming. So in a way, I'm glad my teeth fell out. I don't regret letting it happen at all. But yeah, that's how it happened. That's what it was. And the thing is that you would say that, and this is it, right? You would say that, oh well, it wouldn't have to, like, you know, you could have done it without that happening. Like, y'all didn't know me back then. Like, I was an animal, a degenerate. I would not have done a damn thing. I never did anything at all. I never took care of myself. I didn't take care of anything. And that's just what I did. Sleep for a mouthful of soda. Yeah. And real life Gollum. So anyway, it's the same thing. Like, if it wasn't something that extreme, it wouldn't have changed me, and I wouldn't have done anything important. Like, if that didn't happen, like, I know myself, and I know that if I had been able to get by without having to do anything, I would have got by without having to do anything, because that's what I do. Y'all see what I'm saying? Hesitation towards getting a sub button except in partnership, because I just want to take breaks or quit streaming. I don't like commitments, and I felt like sub button would make people think I'm committed to streaming. Pretty good thought. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, in a weird way, I don't want to talk about this a whole lot because it's been kind of recent, but like with my mom dying, right? My whole life, I have been a scoundrel, a fiend, a degenerate, an animal, and in general, in many times, bad person. And I don't really talk about a lot of those times. But yeah, I was. And I was an absolute fiend. And I loved it. I was so happy. I would go and commit crime and do shit I shouldn't be doing. And I would come home and I would be so happy. And I always wish that I could go back to that. But whenever she was gone, and I would always, whenever I was a kid, I would always do bad things. Like there would be times where I would hurt myself just to prove to myself that I had power over myself, that I could do whatever I wanted. It sounds weird, but I would do that. And because I said there's no strings pulling me, there's nobody telling me what I can do and what I can't do. I can do anything that I want, and nobody can tell me otherwise. And sometimes I would prove that to myself, you know, whenever I broke out one of my teeth with the pliers and shit like that. Because I told myself I can do this to myself, and I did. And anyway, yeah, no strings on me. And I realized that I spent my whole life proving to myself that I could do bad things. And whenever I lost my mom, I realized that I think it's time to prove to myself that I can do good things too. And I regret those things that I used to do, those bad things now, and I will never do them again. And I've proven it, that I can do bad stuff if I want to, and I don't have to anymore. I don't want to anymore, and I won't. That's it. Or some good things you would do. Just little things, right? Like, I'm like nicer to people. I try to help out my friends. I offer to do things for people. Because I think that, like, to a certain degree, the reason why I don't know, maybe I'm not really get into that a whole lot, but like just in general, is it that Dark Side of Asthma not paying for Taco Bell or washing his hands? Bro, I used to go to Taco Bell, get a fucking glass of water, fill that shit up with Pepsi, and I would stand in front of the drink machine so they couldn't see me. They were out of line of sight of the Pepsi. This is a lot just growing up. Yeah, the thing is, I never wanted to grow up in that way, though. Thug life, yeah. Doing good's harder than doing bad things. Yeah, and that's the thing, is that, and I think that the reason why is that, like, I was raised religious, and I always thought that it was stupid, and I didn't like how, like, you know, it was just like an assumption that you have to do like one thing or another thing. I said, fuck that. You know, who's anybody to tell me what to do? And it took a long time to get there. It really did. It took a long fucking time. Abuse people had hardship, often hurt themselves to show they have self-mastery. Yeah. Well, I did this even whenever I was a little kid. Like, this wasn't like some kind of like trauma or whatever, or abuse. Like, I would do this to myself whenever I was like 7, 8 years old. That you remember? Oh, I remember everything. You're young, you thought you were smarter than everyone else? I think that, like, I probably did the same thing that a lot of y'all did. Is I would think that I was smarter than everybody else, and I would fail a test, and I would think I was dumber than everybody else. And then it would basically go back and forth. You know, like, Y'all had that same shit happen? Yeah. Are you an animal still? No, not really. Yeah, I'm just a good boy now. Just chilling. We play Myth of Empire? No, I don't even know what the fuck that is. What was the best trinket for warriors in BRF then? Let's see. Well, you would use the 620 item level. Or was it 620? No, excuse me. 660 item level trinket that was BOE, that was on use strength, and then you had another trinket that would proc for crit. And I think it dropped from Thogar. I don't remember exactly what it was. The scabbard, yeah, the scabbard was the first one. But anyway, I gotta sleep because I have an event tomorrow. Yeah, I gotta fucking sleep. Oh, I always stay up too late. I always do that. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it. I do like talking about real shit, you know? It's much more interesting to me than playing video games, to be honest. Alright, boys, peace.